What if I told you the barrier between you and profitability was actually you? Complicated frameworks, complicated strategy, the barriers we set towards ourselves all result in us not achieving what we set to achieve and not end up profitable. And we tend to blame other things. We tend to change strategy, or we just blame luck, which was definitely something for me. So I sat back and asked why. That's when you realize that it's not luck, it's not always strategy, it's actually you and your process that you develop in the market. And this is what really changed things for me. And this is what made me realize it is my approach and it is my framework that is going to get me to where I needed to be. And once I started focusing on this framework, that is when I see changes in my trading, and that is where I saw consistency be made. So this might be a different video. It's not going to be selling you $1,000 a day strategy or showing you how I made $25,000. This is actually a video that I wish I had when I started trading, because this goes deep into a process and a method and a framework that I wish I followed and would have made my life a lot easier. And I hope you enjoyed this video and followed this framework. I hope it can give you some understanding. And if it does, please do enjoy the video, leave a subscribe and leave a like. It's all I ask of that. So that sounds interesting. Watch to the end of the video. I'm sure this is going to have some really important tips. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So I've put together this presentation to help you and explain to you the path that I wish I knew. Now, this is going to take you through the different steps that I wish I knew and tell you how to actually create a profitable system and prove that system is profitable and what has worked for me. I'm all about sharing my experiences, not my opinion. So this is exactly going to go through it and hopefully help you guys, put you guys on the right track. We're going to look at my trade statistics and compare how you can apply that to yourself, or if you're interested in learning how I trade, it's going to give you a guideline of that. Overall, this framework should work for everyone. And we're going to start off with the first part here is obviously the start here. So when you're coming into trading, you need to realize what type of trader you're going to be. Too many people are jumping around. Be strict with yourself. Do you want to be a swing trader? What market do you want to trade in? For example, I trade 3 pairs. My pairs include 1 forex pair, 1 indice, and 1 commodity. I forgot to add commodities there, my bad, but commodities count. Commodities are gold, silver, stuff like that, right? So you want to choose what you want to trade. I don't recommend having tons of pairs, but if you're a swing trader, which comes to the point of what type of trader you are going to want multiple type of pairs because you need to have potential opportunities, and you might miss out if you're only focusing on 1 pair, right? So this is all going to matter, and this is basic stuff, but you need to be clear about this, because if 1 minute you're scalping on the 1 minute, which personally I don't believe is very profitable, and then you switch to swing trading, it's a big switch, right? But in saying that, all of this, no matter what you choose, is going to involve solving variables, right? You have to solve variables. So no matter what you're trading, you'll have to choose a time frame, analyze based on different time frames, find the direction of the market, define entry criteria, and be able to put a TP and an SL to be able to get out the market when you're wrong and to get out the market when you're right. No matter what strategy you use, no matter the way you trade, these all need to be defined, and these are going to be defined as something called variables. And those variables are very important. Without variables, you're going to be lost, right? And you're not going to know what to do, right? You're not going to know what direction to take trades. You're not going to know how to take trades. You're not going to know what time frame to take trades. And you're not also going to know when to exit the trade and when you're wrong in a trade. This is the fundamental variables that every single trade that you enter, every single situation in the market that you enter, every strategy that you have, every strategy that you learn needs to have, right? So if we're moving on here to the next part here, this is all going to involve what? This is all going to involve building a plan and solving for that plan. What does that mean? So once you build a plan, plans are not perfect to begin with. They need to be solved. They need to be solved in yourself, because you're going to view the market differently. I'm not sure if you can see this picture behind me, but I use the analogy. Everyone can get an idea of what the hell's going on in that picture. But people will view the picture slightly different. They will notice different details, and that's going to be solving for that plan, right? So we're going to get a little bit more into that, about how to solve for the plan and change that trading from luck to actually progression and to make things work, right? Because maybe you might have no luck in the markets and you're just constantly losing and not understanding why. And this is what this video is aimed to help. So definitely, if you're enjoying, leave a like. Plenty of this type of content I love to post. So let me know if you like it in the comments as well. So at the end of the day, this is a game of probability and statistics, and people need to realize that where's your probabilities and where's your statistics. If you don't have probabilities, if you don't have statistics to prove those probabilities, there's not much you can do in the market. You're probably going to fail long term, right? So I like to put it in this way. If in X conditions with X variables, this is my expected outcome, right? That is how you can be able to trade, saying that I have seen this conditions and this is my outcome and this is what I can expect in these conditions, right? So those X is your variables, right? And this initial data collection has to come from backtesting because it simply takes too long to forward test. And if you're forward testing in the market, you are also putting yourself at it will take years. So most experienced traders who've been trading for 10 years probably did go through that painful process of learning like that. But we can shorten that time by backtesting. So backtesting is going to be very, very important. Hence, even why I've made a passion project based on making a backtesting software as well. So it is very, very useful, and you need to collect that initial data from there. We're actually going to look at some of the stuff that I collected in the past to test my entries, and then some of my real trading statistics as well. So backtesting is key. In the description is Pip Labs. That's the one I recommend and use myself and actually own. So enjoy. There's always something in a trade that can go wrong and make it fail, right? And this is what people don't understand. That is just part of the probability. So whenever you have a guru trying to explain to you, oh, your trade was wrong because of this, of course it was. Every single trade is going to have something that's going to be wrong. And that's where someone trying to teach you to trade might actually do you more damage if they don't know what they're talking about. Because they're just going to highlight in the things that are always going to be in every single trade instead of tell you, no, you actually did a good job here. It's just a probability. This is not a 100% win rate. So you can't win 100% of the time. So it was just a probability. And that's the reason that you failed. Don't worry about it. Okay, continue taking this over time. And from your back testing, you should be able to also prove that, hey, this was just an iteration that was wrong. Emotions removed from the market, and you understand it's a game of probability and statistics. Now, you also need to be able to control your variables so you can tweak them, because there might be something you have to tweak. And then, of course, scale, right? You want to scale. Scaling is very important. We don't want to be flatlined, okay? So this is a very important saying that I like to say in the market that will guide you, is your job is not to catch every move in the market. It is to catch your move. The rest, I wrote it wrong, the randomness that your plan is trying to protect you against. So I'm going to sum that up. Basically, your job, people see there's moves happening all the time in the market. Maybe you missed Bitcoin back when it was 3,000. There's moves always happening, right? But that's not your job. Your job is not to catch every single move. Your job is to catch your move. Everything around that is randomness. Your strategy protects you against, because your strategy defines in what conditions you can be profitable. And that's from your probabilities and statistics and time and data, right? That's what's going to do what? That's what's going to prove it works. And everything around that is randomness that if you get involved in or try to get involved in, you don't have the probabilities. And that's where most failed, is they try to get in moves that are not their move, and you fail in trading. Okay, so we're going to go through some of my statistics here and about my data to see, okay, what can we learn from that? So if we take this is my public journal. I live stream. If you don't know, I live stream from Monday to Friday on YouTube. I've been doing that for over 1.5 years. And every single trade I've taken on London session, which is my main session, I document here live, taken from entry, exit, and TP. So this is my journal here. You can see all the stats. From this, I can see what time am I most profitable, what's my most profitable setup by collecting data. Now you can see most of the time I have put my setups to very, very few setups here. I have setup 1, my most popular with the biggest count here. I'm running around a 75% win rate in this 1.5 years here. You can see I'm running a count of setup 1, my most popular with the 75% win rate, 70% win rate on setup 2, and setup 3 hasn't happened so much in the recent years. Back in the day, it used to be a very popular setup. It's one of my setup entry criteria. We'll get into some of the entry criteria stuff, but that's only running at a 60%. So probably it's worth just to ignore this for now. But there's certain situations where it does make a lot of sense. My thunderstorm setup, very powerful setup for the times it comes, 100% win rate. My extended setups is basically stuff that is done with a bit of adaptation, or stuff that I don't want to just put random stuff online. So it's more of, okay, it's a mix between a setup 1 and a setup 2, you know, it's those combined. And that might be something like, for those who don't know and were wondering, what is a setup 1? That is just one of my entry models. So we're going to discuss how to design an entry model. That is part of this whole video I'm making. But you can basically see, you know, in terms of my pair profitability, gold profitability, 77% win rate. JBP, JPY is one of my most popular pairs, come down to 72%. DAX as well, I trade more often now, is 82%. So all of this data I can go back and see. And this is not even a detailed journal, because this is my end result. This is what I keep now. But back in the day, I was managing all the small details. What was causing things to win? And you can see these are happening in the notes. You can journal any way you want to. I don't recommend making your journal super complex of every small detail. But what's very important in a journal is the result in terms of percentage gain, the time you took the trade. I can't tell you how important time is. Check these times, 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 10, 10, 11, all within 3 hours of each other. All. That is my window to trade. And to have this win percentage, I need to know that data. And that's like, seems so basic for me to tell you guys that, but it takes so long to understand that, right? And of course, to refine your entries and stuff. I'm not here to tell you that the way I enter the market may be the best for you. It's worked the best for me. It worked a lot, very, very good for others. And the success has been amazing amongst others, right? We can see that with the results they get, how they're working on their own accounts, funded accounts, you name it. So I'm happy to see that. But if you're here watching this video with another strategy, maybe you trade this way, maybe you trade that way, you need to be able to collect this information to know and replicate the winning scenarios. Your goal is to replicate the winning scenarios. So out of these condensed setups that I use, I had to disregard, get ready for a flashbang if you're watching this at night, these setups, because this is what I used to test. I used to test these type of setups. This is all the different options I used to have. This was testing. Same journal. This is in testing phase, right? This was testing phase. Only one pair to keep things simple, but this was in a testing phase. I used to test a whole lot of different type of entries here. So understanding data collection and being able to see the human error in that, missed my entry, correct decision, like this is all the stuff. Human error will play a role in your final result of your wins versus losses, win percentage, and all of that. You can see as well, closing, what this, I manage this trade, I only take a 0.25 loss. Here I only take a 0.8% win. Here I take a 1.8% win. You can see, right? Here I only take a 1.20% win. Here I take a 2.2% win, right? So this is very, very important. Now, this is a basic journal, but you need to be collecting the data, like, was I buying at a 4-hour resistance? Whatever your plan involves is the data you need to collect, and you need to add columns onto this, right? You need to add columns and build your own sheet. Now, if you want a basic sheet like this is available in the description of all of my live stream videos. Just go on my channel, click live, and then go to one of any live stream, and it's in the description there, right? So you can start tracking stuff like this. Track your environment, your trading environment. Put a log, what were you feeling, right? You know, make an emotional journal as well. These are all stuff you can be adding, right? All of these stuff is what you can be adding into your own journal, and you need to be tracking all of that so that you have variables that you can remove or add. You saw all of those setups I showed you. A lot of those didn't work. They didn't happen enough. You couldn't collect enough data, so you condense to a few setups and you control the variables of the setup. People think you need indicators. People think you need different types of, you know, moving averages and this confirmation, that. The more confirmation you have, the more variables you add to your trade. Those variables, those things can go wrong. So if you're adding more to your trade, that's more variables you need to track, and you might need to remove them or exchange them for a better variable. So you overcomplicate it. Simplicity is going to be key. This is what I'm trying to get at, and you're going to find throughout this video here. So let's move on. So as I said, talking about that simplicity is key. This comes into the 4-step process. No matter what strategy you have, you need to have a 4-step process. This is the key. This is, if you ask me for a golden nugget, this is the best golden nugget you're ever going to get. I can't believe I'm actually presenting this for free like this. I just had it in me to make a video like this, and holy shit. Like, I'm telling you from now, like, this is an amazing thing. So every single strategy needs to have some sort of chart markup. I personally love to use horizontal lines, marking my resistances from the daily all the way down to the 15. Why? Because the higher time frame guides. People think that the lower time frame builds the higher time frame. No, the higher time frame guided the lower time frame. That built the higher time frame. But basically the higher time frame was the instruction manual that the lower time frame was following. So you need to know what the hell is going on the higher time frame. If you don't understand what's going on the higher time frame, you're going to be lost on the lower time frame, because that's what guides. So I need to mark and make sure, because all of my trade ideas come from the higher time frame. I may just execute on a 15-minute to trade a session, right? I'm trading a session move. After you be able to mark up to understand what's your levels, what's your zones, where's your obstacles, right? You're creating yourself a map, and you need to find, you have a big map and you need to draw a path on that map. That is a markup, right? You're trying to find no obstacles. You don't want to run into a bloody building, right? You don't want to run into a tree. Don't want to be a dumbass like that. We want to be straight and fixed. Where are we going? And speaking about where we're going, that's where directional bias is going to come. You need to know today, does it make sense to look for buys or sells? How am I supposed to develop a directional bias? And I call that session bias. It's actually part of my strategy. I have developed a full free course on my YouTube channel explaining these 4-step process. There's actually a video called the 4-step process, which basically links to a lot of the topics in that free course. So I highly recommend you check that out. It's going to pop up. That's how it looks. I'm probably going to link it in this video, and I'll link it in the description just to help you guys out even more, right? So this is going to be absolutely crazy to understand this stuff, right? And the next thing is going to be finding a zone to trade in. So after you understand what direction it's going to go, you've marked up so you know where your obstacles are, and you don't want to trade into those obstacles, obviously. You need to find a zone to trade in. I like to trade in zones that have had candles that have no support and resistance. So it's just straight candles. Because it could move clean in the past, I expect it to move clean in the future. Right? So the last thing is, once you understand all of that, you basically got your analysis down. That's your analysis. You just need to find an entry model. That's it. You need to find an entry model. So my entry models are based on candle closures in those zones, believe it or not. I want to see a candle close on a 15-minute is the main time frame I use. And based on those closures is how I take trades. Your strategy could be anything, but you need to define that. That's the variables you need to define. And that's how my strategy is going to work, with plus or minus stuff that, of course, I speak about in the free course as well, right? So yes, it is that simple as a process. But is it too good to be true that that's how simple it could be? And honestly, yes. And we're going to explain that because most people won't. So here's the problem. This is the plan you want to do, and this is the kind of flow you want to have. So you want to have a plan that involves all of that, that defines your variables, defines how you take a trade. Your job is to trade the plan. You're like a business. That's your operations. If you don't follow operations, the business fails. That's why the operations was set, right? You trade the plan, you review the outcome, and you either replicate or refine. So it's very important. So you trade the plan, you review the outcome, you either replicate or refine. What do I mean by that? So you're either replicating the scenario if it's a winning trade, right? You want to keep replicating that. That's going to print you money. Or if it's a losing trade, you need to refine and see, okay, why is this lose? Is there a problem with my variables? But remember what I said in the beginning of the video. There's always going to be a reason for it to lose. So you have to be able to define, was it a variable that you did not control in this scenario, or did not know about, or have the experience to be able to say, hey, this is where I lack. And this is where you can have issues. So here we come. And this is what people need to realize. First of all, it will take repetition, it will take time, and that will equal a skill. And most people don't have the time. Most people don't have the time because they're in a rush to make money without having the skill. They will do the repetition of not the same repetition, random repetition. They'll get impatient with the time and they'll not get a skill, right? Alex Hormozy said this, by the way, so I have to shut him out. So at the end of the day, you have to remember that you have to allow time. Time is the only enemy you guys have against you, and that's the expectations you set for you guys to fail. Right? But if you don't mind about time and you mind about the process and getting things right, then that's going to pay you. That's how you get paid, is that you just have to repeat things that work. It's as simple as that. But how to refine and how to know what to refine, very difficult. This is where it becomes complex, because I could sit here and talk to you, refine, and you'll get better. But what do I refine, Harry? How do I know what to refine? Very good question. So you set variables, you've collected statistics and data on that variables from back testing. Maybe you did some demo forward testing. Those are your variables. In those variables, it should be a profitable strategy. Or you just learn from someone who's profitable and can help you with that as well. That's half the job done, right? Most people are out there teaching their strategies. Now, you have to, of course, be careful of who you listen to. A lot of people are BS strategies out there. So listen to people who actually show their strategies working, not show the lifestyle. Right? The lifestyle ain't going to help you. It looks cool, but it ain't going to help you. You need to see the strategy working. That's what I'm interested in. I want to see it working. Let's see it in action. Right? Let's see the stats, right? So that is going to be extremely important. Now, when you look to refine something, you're looking to see what variables were different compared to another trade. Okay, what did I do differently, or what did I not, right? That's going to be the most important thing, that what variable did I not have today? And this is where having correct feedback is going to be the best. You need someone with a little bit more experience to cut you that BS, right? That's why this video, very good video, I hope, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. But I've given this for free. Why? Because I can give value like this for free. If you visit my channel, you'll see value, 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 value. People ask me, Harry, why do you do so much for free? Right? The reason, because if I charge for my time, right? I charge for my time because that's what I'm charging people to do. What do I do with that time? I help people apply. That's what I want to do. I don't even want to help people in terms of a way, be like a teacher like this. No, the way is I put them in my environment, we trade together, and at the end of the day, they share what their ideas and I give it back. It keeps me interested, it keeps me on top of my game, and it gets them to progress because they're sharing from my experience. And that's key. You need to apply the information. So if you're just paying money for a course, paying money for information ain't gonna help you. You need to pay for time to get the application, but not just one day. Not just one day of application, repetition of application, being somewhere for a while, right? So whole way I came up with having a private network of traders with the exclusive group, right? That's how that came up with, and I enjoy it. But this is where I see the most progression, and this is what I wanted, right? This is what really will make you understand how to refine and know what to refine without you needing to go through the painful process of trying to deduct that yourself. And you can, but you need to keep it simple because the variables should have been set from before. You have to remember, if you're trying to force a trade in a market condition that does not support your trade, that is the variable that caused your trade to fail. You are forcing a trade when the market conditions did not accommodate your trade. If you did not wait for one structural point, but everything else was fine, that's enough to cause your trade to fail. You can account it to that. You need to collect data of that. Okay? So you have to understand that. And the nice way I like to say is that the biggest thing that's going to cause you to fail is the mistakes. And remember, the mistakes, making one mistake per week for the whole year is minus 52% if that mistake costs you 1%. You should listen to that again, right? So measuring growth, pretty simple to measure growth. You need to see the efficiency of your trading. How smooth is your process? Do you feel confused? Are you able to come to the market every single day and be efficient with your process? Come, follow a plan, make a plan, find an area to take a trade, and only wait and execute if you find and see that trade happen, and get on with your day. That's efficiency. If you're not efficient, lost, FOMO, don't know when to enter, trying to find a way to enter, take a bad entry, you're still not efficient, you're lacking. Results, obviously going to be an easy one. What is your results? Your goal is not to make money. Your goal is to first get break even. Then your goal is to make at least some sort of money and then scale. You can't scale something from 0 to 100 without starting to be at 1, right? We want to go from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, and now we can start to see the compound and how it grows quick, right? But you need to get that from 1 to 2. Right? We need that 1 to 2. Most people are trying to go from 1 to 100 and then they keep getting stuck at 1. You need to go 1 to 2, then you can go from 2 to 4, then you can go from 4 to 8, 8 to 16. You get my point. You see how fast it comes. So results are going to be good. Now results don't have to be monetary. My results can be as well as how's your emotions at the chart? How's your process at the chart? Do you feel clear in your analysis? How's your journaling? Is it getting better? That's all progression. Always compare to yourself to where you were. You will see massive leaps and bounds, and you need to track that progression. I always remind the people in the exclusive about that, and they see that huge progression. Not only that, people maybe come in a challenge. We see that I'll pop up a chart here of someone who is in drawdown, right? And they join, and then they start to claw that back. Now, they're not where they want to be, but that's progression. As much as it feels like you're not progressing, it's massive progression. It's massive. And you need to realize that, like, you are doing amazing. Like, be proud of yourself. You are getting better at this skill. So, this is where it gets a bit of complex, right? Because we have psychology and experience and something intuition as well, right? Because psychology is only going to be a lack of process, right? The reason why you have psychological problems on the charts is because of lack of experience, right? You either have a lack of process or a lack of experience, right? You're not following a process, so you get emotional, or you have a lack of experience to be able to follow that process. Either or it's going to become, and that's going to be the fact. Now, the main thing to remember is, emotional situations on the charts cause emotional actions. So Don't put yourself in emotion. If price pushes through a zone and is flying and that doesn't allow you to enter, that's an emotional situation that will cause you to FOMO. So whenever that happens, remove yourself from that scenario. You can just get up, go. No one's going to do anything. Be strong. Now, let's say people say, I can't get up. I can't do that. You're just not emotionally strong enough right now. You need to do harder shit in your life and get good at being disciplined outside of the charts so that that can affect you on the charts. Remember, most of the stuff off the charts is going to directly imply on the charts because the charts are going to bring out every single emotion you could have imagined, right? So very important to understand this. I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible. We're pretty long into the video. I can see this recording, but we're gonna wrap this up. So this is how we're gonna wrap this up. We hold ourselves back. The market does not care. Don't move fast, move correctly. So in the beginning of this video, I said that the obstacle is us, and it's really us because we are the ones who are setting the expectations and feel like we're not reaching those expectations. We have goals and ambitions, but most of us struggle to reach them. But it's not your fault. Expectations set online made it super hard for us. When I came into trading, my expectations were off the charts. And you have to realize most big traders in this world are looking to return a very minimal in the market and is considered an amazing trader. As an institutional trader, if you're returning 2% a month is great, you know, but as a retail trader, that's BS, right? And realistically, it's not BS, actually, it's good. Over time, that's going to pay, especially if you can get access to capital, etc. Capital is your only problem at that point, not the percentage, right? Leverage is there and risk. You could always risk more with more capital, and you can also risk more with less capital if you know what you're doing, right? So, but the expectations, the lifestyle made it harder, and that's the reason you feel like that. The whole reason you feel like that is because you're trying to make something out of nothing, right? You have nothing now, you have no skill, you have only thing you have is you have a vision, you have a dream, and you have an expectation that was set by you online that you want the supercars, you want the lifestyle, or you want the freedom. Whatever the motivator is, I want to pay for my family, whatever the motivator is. That doesn't happen overnight, and you have to realize that's an expectation that might be the end result of 8 years, but you're here in 6 months trying to achieve that result. Doesn't work that easy. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Doesn't happen overnight. So don't let these expectations. Now, this is a big mindset shift, and it's how I kind of wanted to end this whole presentation, is imagine you started trading before anyone started trading. Before anyone. And you had to set a standard. You're going to set the best standard you can, but that's going to be within your own ability. It might be 2% a month. It might be ending the year on 50% gain, ending the year on 100% gain. You don't know. You're just going to do your best. And that's going to be the standard. Everyone after you is going to follow that standard because you set it. But the standards that were set in this industry were following some guy online claiming to do XYZ. You don't know. It could be a standard he set to make himself look better than he is. Or maybe he is that good, but that's not you. He's not you. He doesn't care about you. You know? You only care about you. You're the only one who can rely on you. So imagine you started trading before anyone else and set the standard yourself. Set the standard yourself and you grow from that. Even if the standard is ending your year break even. Hello, congrats, that's the standard. My trading journey has equated to this. Let me set a new standard. And that's your journey. The standard may not be where you want it to grow, but that's not what you should be in this for right now. You should be in this for getting the skill because you're just going to lose money otherwise. Remember, most people lose in this game. Most people lose in this game. So your goal is to try be ahead of most people. That's not easy to do. Otherwise, everyone would do it. Like it's all the alarms are there to tell you that this is not easy. It's all there. So set your own standard and build from that because that's the best thing you can do. And that's exactly what I've done. As I set my standard, this is my best. Tried my best this year. Let me scale it. And when I look at the real stuff and I start to get deeper into this industry, you know, coming on to 7 years in this industry, it's my 6th now. As I start to come deeper, I start to expose that, hey, actually, I'm doing pretty decent compared to what real traders, I assume, are doing, right? From what I can see. So this is super important. This is your path. So this is the path I wish I knew. But I really appreciate you guys watching this if you did, and I hope this video opens your eyes. One thing I could ask is that, you know, if you want to help more people, maybe you think this video helped you, I'm sure it will help more people. The best I could ask is to share this video with someone. Share it with someone who you think need it. Leave a like, comment on it. just help it get out there, you know. Subscribe to my channel would really help. And you can see, like, this is what we want. We want people to be not lost in this space. It's a very lonely space that you can get lost in, and that's what you want. You want to support. So have a good day, guys. Take care. Appreciate you watching the video. Trade sharp, and hopefully catch you guys very, very soon. Peace.